Hello and welcome to DDOCast episode 518, recorded live on Sunday, May 13th. Happy Mother's Day to everyone, all those mothers out there. Hope you're having a very special day, getting in some gaming perhaps. I'm your host Patrick. With me this week we have returning to the show, Evilbeeker. Welcome back.
Hey everyone.
Good to have you back. It's been a little while.
I'm still here.
Let's see. This week's screenshot. Tehote tests out a new rune arm after crafting in the House Cannith in the 366 screenshot of the week. Thanks, Intrepid Bear, for sending in this week's screenshot. Nice use of rune arm there.
I want to know how many chances it took to get that.
Well, pro tip, if you're trying to get really good action-y shots, the best way to do it is to actually take video, and then you can just grab a little snapshot of your video. So it makes it a little bit easier to kind of do that. We like to talk about Dungeons & Dragons online nearly every weekend. You can catch us through Twitch, YouTube, the DDO forums, iTunes, or from our website at DDOCast.com. DDOCast is hosted by CyberEars, the awesome podcast hosting network, and shows are usually available within a few days of recording. The next show will probably be next Sunday, and you can stay up to it by following us on our social media pages or our website, DDOCast.com, with our calendar. On the podcast this week, there's not really any game news, but we'll talk about the story news and stuff. And we've got some community news, so we'll cover that. And we got a couple of emails and comments about our last two episodes, which was our Update 38 review portion, so we'll talk about those as well. We'll just start with the store news. There's not really game news, per se, but store news. This was slightly unfortunate. They did the buy one, get one sale again, which meant you could buy one of the following items and get a second item for free. Those items included bound to character bags.
Oh.
Which we brought up the last time. Like, we've been through this before, guys. So they came back, so that we have noticed a bug in our buy one, get one free sale. I don't know if it was necessarily a bug related to the bound to character part or what exactly. But they said thank you to the players that have pointed this out. We've changed the sale to a 50% off sale on the items that were buy one, get one free. If you were affected by the previous sale bug, please reach out to the customer service team who will be happy to help you. They're sorry for any inconvenience that this bug has caused. I think one of the other problems they had too was like people would try to buy multiple experience elixirs, and they would get like one for free if they bought. So if they were buying 6, they would get one of them for free and not 3 of them for free, kind of stuff. So, yeah. So now it's just the following items are just 50% off. Great. Huge augment bag, a huge gem bag, huge ingredients bag, huge collectibles bag, Mirror of Glam rings, Sovereign 1 and 2 experience elixirs, plus 3 Tomes of Fate, and Major Slayer count boosts now through May 17th. So you get all those 50% off. You can also get a free Greater Elixir of Angel's Tears. Just one with the coupon code TEAR, SHEAL. Oh, Tears Heal. There we go. Aha, I see it. So there you go. And there you go. That's the store news for the week. That's pretty much all the news there is entirely. Pretty slow news week. But we can talk about the community news, a little bit more active. The DDO Chronicle 283. Longtime video blogger Axel looked at Update 38 and debuted a new video format. So you can check out what he's doing. He took a little bit of time off, but he's back doing some more videos. Bruce Shepard entered a Death House. You can support his long-running YouTuber as well. The guild for the week. The Lava Divers are our level 200 guild on Kyber that has been in-game for many years. Click here to learn about this classic DDO guild. Hey, look, my guild made the the Chronicle. After we made it to 200. So, yeah, that's my guild. I think we have a recruiting thread on the forums if you're interested in applying for that guild as well. There is a moderate amount of recruiting going on, I think. I've kind of been out a lot of late because I've been busy, but they're looking for some more people. The comment for the week: if you could control one named monster in-game for a day, which would you choose and why?
Oh, jeez. Probably those boulders that drink in the bar. Just go in there and have a few with them.
Sure. I'm wondering if I control a raid boss, will they give me the raid loot that I'm looking for? Is that like on the table? 'Cause that could be kind of handy. If that was true, I'd probably have to go with Baba, just because I need so many things out of that raid that refuse to drop whenever I'm on the correct character. Of course, that's kind of how it always works, right? Let's see, fan site news. DDOCast continued our review of Update 38. It said Update 38, Patch 2. It was actually supposed to be Part 2. Yeah. And Cordovan, Linabelle, and Saba Jade covered for me last week. Thank you very much. It was very helpful for my own schedule for them to kind of take over the show for me for a week. I have to worry about that. And they did a lovely job. The DDO Players News, I had episode 178. Samus Grobo TR'd and then got through the low levels. You can check out there for the latest Fall of the Noob. Sip ran Raven at the door. He's a, I'm not sure if he's a writer or a blogger, but he has a relationship with one of the, I think Massively OP, one of the online gaming magazines. He's been doing a series on the Ravenloft quests. Let's see. A Very Bad Guild hit level 100. Mickey entered week 72 of raiding. Ban VP ran Memoirs of Illusionary Larcener. Gameolio Dan continued looking at DDO in a new YouTube web series. Tito LP ran Oath of Vengeance. Streaming with Even is back. Doug Glendower fed his sentient jewels on Cinco de Mayo. McVegan Pants leveled Sprouts. And Brighter Days Ahead celebrated the summer. And the DDO Wiki showed you how to add items. Woohoo!
Well, that's getting longer every week.
Yeah, right? And the scary thing is, well, not just scary, but the cool thing is that, I mean, some of those names are not the same every week, which is pretty awesome. So there's a lot of people working on that.
And there's a lot that, I mean, I see a couple of people that just aren't on there only because they don't stream as often. You know, you'll see them on once every 2 weeks or something like that. So plenty of DDO to watch on Twitch whenever you have time.
DDO Central in the chat did confirm that Sip is with Massively OP. If we wanted to look at his writings. DDOcast news. Again, thanks to Jerry, Saba, and Linabelle for hosting the show last week. Really helpful for me to have a week off while I was busy work. I did not break 100 hours last week, so, but I was still working a lot, so very helpful to not have to worry about trying to put the show together. Also, DDOCast Splat is back. We had our first time back in a couple weeks. We played with mines again. It was fantastic.
Keeping you away from explosives is my main goal in life now.
I said fire in the hole.
Yeah. Yeah, but we weren't paying attention. We were buffing at the time.
Oh, well. We had fun, and then we went and played with the fire bomber, which was
and actually when we did that quest, that was a great example of how to kill that automaton at the end, the optional, because I know there's a lot of people that do that quest and they just skip that part because that thing is pretty darn tough.
Not really worth it, to be honest.
Yeah,
the amount of XP you get for that is pretty trivial, and 3 chests that I don't even think drop anything decent named loot-wise. Yeah. They may not even drop anything named loot-wise. So.
Yeah, it's more of an accomplishment than anything else.
But it's still kind of fun to play around with. And, of course, you know, it's DDOCast Splat. Of course we're going to go play with the fire bomber.
Mm-hmm.
There's no question about that. Let's see. All right, let's talk about Lightning Post. So we had some people writing in a couple things about the last couple of shows. Fuzzy Duck wrote in. He said this is referring to the new daily dice stuff. Said he liked the new things in the rolls, though it's kind of a shame they only give single potions now instead of stacks of 5. Well, the potions are better, so there's that.
Yeah, I've actually gotten a couple of Radiant Force Fields already.
Nice.
So I've been stacking up on those. I did notice though one thing, the Bigby's hands though, they're given out in either stacks of 5 or 10. I've seen both 5 and 10.
I think I got 7.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, because I think I've gotten like two 10s and then like a 1 5, and I think I threw a couple of them in the auction and they sold right away. So
I might have to do that. I'm as Fuzzy Duck says, he's now to remember to actually use the things rather than constantly hoard them. Yeah, that's my problem. They're all going into the shared bank and they're not getting used.
Same here. My shared bank's getting pretty full.
And I don't use the Bigby's hands really at all. So
no, I don't either. So
I might just start selling them on the Shard Exchange or auction house or something. See what I can get from.
I actually, on my last gold roll, I got an outfit.
Oh, nice.
I actually landed an outfit. So, and it was a high roll too. It was 99 or 100. It might have even been 100. So, because it was like I got the outfit, and then like 30,000 experience, and there was one other thing in there too. But yeah, it's a nice. I love the fact that they changed that.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun kind of stuff in there. I actually got one of the elixirs of discovery. Not on the server I play on, of course, but I did actually get one.
Of course.
And kind of information with that was unknown at the time is they only last an hour. So it's not a huge amount of time. So
no.
You're probably at most going to get 2 raid runs out of that.
Yeah, you're not going to get any more than that.
You might be able to, if you wait till the end of the raid, you might be able to get 3, but it's going to be pushing it. So I think with the amount of time that is there, it's probably not game breaking unless you can buy like 50 of them at a time. So, which you can't. You have to get them through a Shard Exchange, or it's not a Shard Exchange, the Daily Dice. So
Daily Dice, yeah.
Not a high probability, I'm thinking. Let's see. He continues said, while they agree with named loot chance booster not being available in the store, as someone who doesn't run raids very often, he's pretty happy it'll be present as an occasional lucky treat, and it only increases the chance of a named item, not necessarily the one you want. Yes.
You know what? That is a great point. So there was a lot of people that complained about this item, and that was the first thing I said was, well, that doesn't guarantee you're going to get what you want. Probably, I mean, it's not a game breaker. It's a great addition, I think.
I'm still not sure where I fully land on it because I understand what people are saying. Like I'm not. It's closer to this world where we just sell loot. You can just buy for points what you want. That's not a good place to be. It's not a big step in that direction, but if they start selling them in the store, am I okay with that? At the end of the day, probably. I don't really care. If that's how other people want to play the game, fine.
I mean,
Thank you for your contribution to keeping Standing Stone Games lights on.
Yeah. I mean, it's not automatic that you get it, is it? Is it automatic? Okay.
No, well, it just increases the percent by 5, 10, or 15%. So.
Oh, okay. Well, and half the people are going to feed it to their sentient jewels anyway.
Sure.
So.
Let's see. Fuzzy Duck said he is currently re-examining Master Maker already built in light of the Vishtani single dagger style fix. It looks like it could be an interesting alternative to Battle Engineer. They can cram the action points in. Yeah, I think you could probably get a little of both in there. Really enjoyed the new quests, though these eyeballs can be a real pain if you aren't prepared. Handy list of things that cause blindness to make life easier for yourself since they'll insta-kill. Glitter Dust, which he points out rogues can use for spell traps. Sleet Storm, Holy Smite, Sunbeam, Sunburst, Blindness, Powered Blind, and Old School Radiance weapons. All good options. It says, I think a few of the new weapons had keener impact on them. He's leveling a Warforged melee Artificer at the moment. But hey, he can use a crossbow situationally and still have the expanded crit range and set bonus. Yeah, it's a great point. If you're using weapons that are kind of off weapons that you wouldn't normally use, having things that have keen and impact on them definitely kind of helps with the DPS there. Whereas if they're a main weapon that you already have that for, definitely not as helpful. Let's see. On last week's show, Fuzzy Duck said, hooray for Linabelle joining the team full-time. Yeah. If you missed last week's show, Linabelle is going to become staff at Standing Stone Games. Congrats on graduating from intern school.
And college, I believe she said,
yes,
too.
Also college. But she's been interning during the summers for quite a while. So, says, I always enjoyed seeing some of the behind-the-scenes stuff, and the loot explanation was really interesting. It's also kind of funny to see those "it works, but we aren't quite sure how, so don't touch it" places. It was quite that as much as it was this. This affects everything, so don't touch it.
Yeah, that's a hard lesson in computer programming, right? You got to be careful of what's there. You don't want to break it.
Sometimes I get the impression that computer programming is like building a house of cards, and if you touch the wrong one, just everything falls apart.
Oh yeah, no, that's exactly how it is.
Mentions Linnabelle's cooking show dungeon idea. Suggestion would be to combine Litany of the Dead's multiple boss options to get a completion and have different name loot associated with each different boss. With Party Crashers, additional objectives to change how the final encounter goes down. Storyline is you're basically a pizza delivery guy. There are multiple powerful entities that you've got to deliver to you, and you start by having to gather ingredients, and then you only have enough to make the delivery to one, so you pick which one, and then have an optional objectives to get extra enhancements to your dish before taking it to them.
That sounds like a mobile game that you play on your phone.
It does not sound very D&D, does it?
No, not really.
Although it sounds kind of interesting. See, for Master Maker, he likes the unbreakable force field. It keeps the auto-triggered one from tier 5 rather than the manual version. It's a real lifesaver. The manual one, in his opinion, the duration should be increased with the trade-off being a much longer cooldown. The mass one's duration should be increased to match it, since while potentially really powerful, it requires some very careful timing at the moment. Even a small hitch, let alone a true lag spike, can waste it. Yeah. 6 seconds is just not enough time to really... It's so short.
Yeah, I heard you guys talking about that last week. I have a high level arty that I haven't really done anything with yet, and I started at a low level one to check out the new stuff. But it sounds like there's a lot of cool stuff. It's just maybe some of it will get changed in an update someday.
Yeah, so another thing he found surprisingly effective in Master Maker is reinforced armor. To add up to 50% extra AC from your armor or docent, combine it with thick skin from the anniversary event or the Executioner's docent from Slaver's Chain. You've got a very solid AC for heroic levels, especially if you have kinetic charge too, which boosts your AC as you fight. Yeah. He disagrees with the idea that the last 2 cores in the Master Maker tree are underwhelming. The Radiant Force Field SLA means you can now give the tank or yourself a full 60 seconds of 25% less damage, even before using Destiny abilities, Force Field cookies or whatever. And just not have to worry about it keeping it for emergencies, since it's effectively half your cooldown when soloing. It's a good point. He already mentioned the trickiness of using Mass Unbreakable Force Field, but the other things, the Capstone, are pretty on par. And don't overlook that extra maximum dex bonus. It means you can get an additional 11% dodge chance with Adamant, or you can get an 11% dodge chance with Adamantine Body, or for Fleshy, it's far higher than is possible depending on gear and certain destinies. Absorbing some damage is nice, but increased ability to have it just miss outright too is pretty sweet. Yes, I agree. Although if you have to pick one, the numbers say you should go for more PRR over dodge. Just FYI. In general. And he says also, while the Urza's protector stuff requires a shield, so you can't go too open two-handed with it, unlike the greater Stalwart Sacred Defender stance bonus that doesn't specify a particular armor type. Meaning you could multi-class and then go with light armor and a small shield or buckler and still have evasion while being a ruddy great angry bear. Yes.
Nice.
All possibilities. Yeah, it's a little more restrictive though, because you have to be in animal form, you have to be in the bear form, and have a shield. Whereas the ones in the fighter, it's either heavy armor, medium armor, or a shield, I believe. Or maybe it's just medium or heavy armor. I can't remember anymore. My fighter doesn't... Both the characters I have, my fighter and my paladin that use the defender stance, both wear heavy armor. So I don't have to worry about it as much.
I mean, if you're a fighter, sword and board, heavy armor,
yeah,
you know, I mean, that's a standard.
Yeah, I did actually get a chance to kind of tinker with those a little bit. My druid definitely got a lot better and with all the changes, and it's nice being pure druid now as opposed to having 3 levels of fighter for a defender stance. The rage stuff is kind of fun.
Yeah, I have an epic bear druid and a heroic wolf druid, and I like the changes in both.
Yeah, and it's one of the things that I kind of measure some of these changes by a lot of times is, do I have enough action points to get everything I want?
Mm-hmm.
Or even more so, when I'm done spending my action points for the stuff that I want, do I have stuff left over that I have no idea where to spend it? And that was not true with Druid or Artificer now.
Right.
So,
no, I agree.
That's both really great. We like that stuff. See, Ambersign said the name drop elixirs may not be sold in the store directly, but you can buy additional daily dice rolls. So in fact, they put them up for sale to gamblers. Yes. And again, if the gamblers want to spend all that money, I mean, the odds are not in your favor. Even where I'm at, I've gotten one lesser elixir out of more than 15 gold rolls.
Yeah. Yeah, and what's it
So-
cost for shards nowadays? I'm not even sure.
Ooh, I don't know. I never buy shards, so I don't actually know what the
Yeah,
prices
me
are.
neither. Yeah.
I still have I'm frugal to a fault, so I still have a lot of shards left from when the shard house kind of opened. I started like, oh, I'm not gonna use this ever. And they're not terribly hard to get anyway. Like, I sold a lot of alchemical weapons. That was kind of a really popular thing for me at the time, selling all those for shards. So, I built up a pretty good selection of shards from that. And then, just kind of occasionally sell stuff on the shard exchange and occasionally buy stuff and occasionally roll. And, autos box, if you use an autos box, you get some shards too. So, let's see. Joshua wrote in, we were talking about global vulnerability. He just started a fresh life as a Pale Master and found Lesser Globe really helpful against Divine Casters since it blocks most light spells. Hey, that's a great tip. Considering Light's a level 2 spell, so it would definitely block that. It won't block Sunbeam, because that's higher level, but, I mean, hey, take what you can get, right?
Yeah.
This would probably be a very effective strategy in running with the Devils, because most of what they're casting is Searing Light, so I could see that being a pretty effective way to go. All right, that'll wrap it up. There's the news and lightning post. We'll close out the show here. Anything you want to plug here before we head out?
In 3 weeks, if you're in Wisconsin or in Northern Illinois, there's a convention, the Nexus Game Fair. I will be there. Playing a little bit of tabletop and maybe some board games too. If anybody in the sound of my voice is interested, go to nexusgamefair.com.
And you also had the pen and paper group on the DDO stream. That's coming back, right?
We haven't decided yet. I haven't had a for sure yes or no from everybody. But we definitely will try it again. I know Jerry wants to do it again. It was a lot of fun. And I think it'll come back. It's just a question of when. It's
Sure.
Sometimes in the summer schedules don't line up, but we'll see what we can do. Maybe we'll do a little interim one at some point. But it was a lot of fun. If anybody out there is interested in trying to run a D&D tabletop game on DDO stream or associated with the DDO, just contact Jerry.
Yeah, maybe I'll send you some of my home-crafted dungeons, and you can torture people with.
Oh, believe me, I got a stack of them at home. I've been doing this for a while, so yeah. I got quite a few of my own.
Yeah, I did recently my pen and paper group. If you're familiar with Temple of Deathworm, the portal maze where it's like you pick left or right, and if you pick wrong, you die. I did a variation on that, and after the first time, they ended up back at the start. One of the guys immediately turned to me and said, "I hate you."
Yeah, there's a couple of published dungeons like that too, where they're just walking death mazes.
You know
what? Even if you don't die, you have fun, and that's the whole point.
Yes, a lot of fun. In any case, thanks for listening to the show. Thanks also to my guest Evilbeeker for joining me today, and thanks to all the contributors for DDOCast. It's a great group of folks. And thanks to Sandstone Games and Wizards of the Coast for making DDO happen, and to Cyberbears for hosting the podcast. If you'd like to support the show, you can visit our website, DDOcast.com, or you can support us on Patreon as well. All that money goes to supporting prizes and stuff like that. There's actually very little cost to the show itself. So if you want to see more of that stuff, that's how that happens. If you have a DDO-themed webpage or a Twitch DDO and you'd like to be featured on our website, you can email us at ddocast@gmail.com. You can also hit us up at ddocast.com for show notes, MP3s, our calendar, previous shows, and other fun stuff. If you'd like to be part of the show, or if you have a comment on this episode, maybe a question you'd like to hear us answer, a topic you'd like to hear us discuss, or you just want to say hi, you can leave a comment or you can email us at ddocast@gmail.com. You can also find us on social media at DDOcast on Twitter. You can follow us there for the latest cast updates. Our closing tip for the week comes from Gren on Orion. be wary hitting return in game, especially if you're dead. You don't want to use up your astral shards on a resurrection accidentally. Good tip. All right, so stay tuned for part 3 of our Update 38 review. Welcome. We are finishing our Update 38 in review with our third part. We have talked about the quests and the loots and the Artificer and Druid changes. This time we're going to be talking about the monk nerfs and kind of some of the other stuff that's come out. I'm your host, Patrick. With me this week, we have Hephaestus.
Hey, everyone. I'm still in the same shirt.
Evennote.
I am still a bear.
Arkat.
I've still got the same sweatshirt.
Voodu, who did change his sweatshirt.
I changed. Hey, everyone.
Thankfully, he was kind enough to turn his camera off when he did that. So, all right, so we're going to continue our Update 38 review. And we're going to start by talking about the monk nerfs. And Arkat and I, Arkat, our resident monk expert, we've talked about the monk nerfs and before on the show. So I think what I want to kind of focus on this time is less about the changes. How does it feel? What do the changes feel like? Because I think we kind of covered the numbers pretty well already. Why don't you take it away?
Okay, so I was thinking about that particular thing. How does it feel? How does it play now? And I'll just give you a real, give you an idea of how I noticed it. It's very noticeable, especially for my Shinto monk. I like the quest Oath of Vengeance in Ravenloft. I really like that quest, and I would solo that on Elite and at one skull R1, fairly easily for a while. After the changes to the the melee power nerfs and the duality nerf, I'm still doing a pretty good amount of damage, but I'm not getting through Oath of Vengeance nearly as quickly as I did before. So it really pointed out to me that the best defense is a good offense. And I'm finding myself becoming, doing a lot of my ASMR lay on of hands type things, whereas before I didn't really feel the need to. So it is forcing me to use some other resources, doing some different things in combat. So it is noticeable. The melee power nerfs, it's very noticeable, and the hand wrap nerf is also very noticeable.
Yeah, I found that it didn't feel like too much of a change for me, but part of that comes from where my monk is right now, because I used my monk as my Season 3 DDOCast character. So I wanted to change him to an ASMR because it kind of fit, the race fit a lot better than where I was. The healing hands kind of shored up a noticeable pain point for my monk of self-healing and survivability in general. But because I was at that level 17 range, I didn't get hit by I didn't really have a very good comparison of losing the melee power at the level 18 cores and the level 20 cores. So it's and now we're taking a break from DDOCast Splat just because of schedule stuff like that. So it's gonna be really hard for me to gauge. I did find that I was still able to, single target was still fairly fine because, stun something and lock it down and then kind of just go to town on it. I can say that it definitely felt like a little less power, but again, it wasn't as noticeable. I just didn't have as many of those cores that got nerfed. I wasn't as vested in Henshin this time. I was going more into Shinto, and like I said, I didn't have the Shinto cores that got nerfed at the time. So I don't really have a good before comparison. Hephaestus, I think you said you played a little bit with Monk, right?
Just not myself, but I've play with a lot of players who
Sure.
play Monk, and for the most part, most of them were saying they didn't really notice it too much. It might be just the kind of content they were running, but I don't know. That's really all I can pretty much say. Most of them were saying that they didn't really see it as big a deal. And a guildie of mine was actually he was checking the macabre weapons, which I think they said that they were going to reduce the damage.
Yeah, they were
but
supposed
I
to.
don't think they did.
Did they?
They did?
They did. They were used to do the macabre and the Morning Lord weapon used to be D6 plus 3. Now they're D6 plus 2.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
I have a feeling once I get into epic levels, I will probably notice this change. Won't really notice the change just because we're getting almost the same amount of melee power added to Grandmaster of Flowers, which is my preferred destiny for running with my monk. So
Sure.
that'll help offset some of that change a little bit. But I think that probably what's the place that I'm noticing it a little bit. I think we'll notice a little bit more is kind of more of the throwery builds that we're using the Vishtani thing to translate melee power to range power as well. I think those builds are going to get a little bit more of a hit from this because they're kind of getting hit twice, right? Like the melee power is being reduced, and then they can't translate it into range power either. So,
Well, it's just getting hit once then. The melee powder doesn't mean anything to them.
I
Anyway.
guess that's true. But yeah, so. We'll see. For me, a lot of those players are players who also tend to change their build pretty frequently. Kind of are very much into the optimizing one build and kind of like. Whereas myself, I tend to build from a standpoint of okay, I want this kind of a build. I'm going to build it. So my monk is my unarmed fighter. That's what he does. He's not a thrower or anything like that. So I don't find my enjoyment necessarily from really eking out every little point that I can get on my builds. So, we're going to talk about kind of the other random stuff for Update 38, and we will include Update 38.1, which came out today as of this recording. Even though this will play a couple weeks down the road, but we'll give our thoughts on some of that stuff. Aside from the daily dice stuff, and the new stuff from the daily dice, which I do want to talk about, are there any other things you guys want to bring out and talk about?
I think I'm good.
I did mention kind of in passing, we got some more melee power from the Epic Destiny cores. Which I don't know if I've really noticed it too much, but other than my monk, most of my melees don't really run in the cores that got the biggest boosts. My tank runs an Unyielding Sentinel, which got 5 melee power per core, but he spends a lot of time blocking in raids these days, so don't notice it quite as much there.
I've got a couple of tunes that run in Shadow Dancer, so I've noticed the
Sure.
increased melee power there. That's nice.
Because you got that's like plus 60, right?
Yeah, it's just plus 6 more per core.
Well, it's plus 10 per core, so
Right.
Well, I guess it was adjusted, so I don't actually know how much
yeah.
it got.
I think it started off with 4, and then
Okay.
it's now 10. So
Yeah, Shadow Dancer got a huge boost. I'm really looking forward to trying it out the next time I have a melee in Epics because I've always loved Shadow Dancer as a utility. Epic Destiny.
Yes. Let's see some other stuff. We didn't mention we were talking about Druid spells. But there was it Snare's the one? I think the spell that they changed the graphic look, so it's less obstructive, or was it not Snare? Which one is it?
The bush.
The bush one,
that
yeah.
Puts out the big bush there.
Yeah, they toned that down, and I really liked that change.
It is lower profile, but you still have the problem with it. It's still quite often it casts off the ground, so it's still right there at eye level.
Oh yeah.
So there's still some problems with it. They still need to do some work on that.
Yeah. Oh, it's kind of some of that stuff and whatnot. I haven't gotten a chance to see the Primal Avatar tree properly animating. I don't know if anyone has seen that one.
I haven't run with anybody in tree form in ages.
Yeah, I haven't seen tree form in a while either.
Thought they chopped down all the trees in Eberron.
All right. Let's talk about kind of the hot topic right now, which is the new daily dice rewards. So this came out with update 38 patch 1, which came out Wednesday, April 25th, which is the day we're actually recording this. So they changed a bunch of the tiers, they renamed it to kind of give us an idea of more what you can get for them. And they added some new items. So from the silver daily dice, you can get a potion of Radiant Force Field, Stone Skin, Good Hope, Rising Fury, and +3 alchemical bonuses to Strength, Dexterity, or Constitution. They also added +50 and +100 Sentient XP gems. Kind of interesting. In gold, they also added 200, 500, and 1,000 Sentient XP gems. They added 12.
And those are unbound, right?
Yes,
That's
they're
right.
unbound.
I was surprised to see that.
Bet we'll see some of those popping up in the auction houses. Yeah. But I mean that's pretty significant because I mean, I'm trying to remember how much you get from a level 30 item, which there really aren't any. So they're mostly like level 29s.
It's times 10, so
Yeah,
so
290.
290 or 300.
So
yeah, it's about 300.
A 1,000 Sentient XP gem is pretty significant. Let's see, they had +12 and +15 MRR, PRR, and spell power, melee power, and range power potions. They added.
I thought that was weird that they had both 12 and 15. It seems
Sure.
so close. Why have
Why have a different one?
Yeah.
It is kind of interesting. Yeah, we'll see kind of how that plays. You kind of might. I know how it'll play for me. I'll be, oh, that's cool, and I'll throw it in my shared bank, and it'll take up 2 slots instead of 1 slot, and then I'll never remember to pull them out and use them.
It's 2 different slots now.
See, they also added remnant boost potions in there, which I think is the first time we've had those. And some pretty. So there's a 25%, 50%, and a +100%. So save those for when you have a remnant boost weekend, when you're getting higher chances. It'll be great there. There's a potion of Titan's Grip, which is the +6 psionic boost to strength. Kind of an interesting one there. Some Islet creature companions and some house cat creature companions.
Yay! I mean, that was all I really needed to hear.
More creature companions for you to chase.
I'm up to 105. Yeah.
I hate to break this to you, but it doesn't say that they're unbound. So you might have to roll them yourself.
I know. I want to find out. I already spent. I already did an extra gold roll today, and I ended up with 3,000 XP and 3 scrolls of Dimension Door, which for 15 shards is less than what I could have gotten on the ASAH for, but still.
I mean, Dimension Door scrolls. That's kind of neat. Some other stuff that they're adding, Big B's Guiding Hands, more and larger ability tomes to +8. Thank you. I think I got like a 99 on a roll. And it was like, here's a +1 skill tome. Like, really? Yay.
I guess we're one step closer to +8 tomes being in the store now, though, right?
Yeah. They're also adding +5 and +20 lesser hearts of wood to the gold table.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's good.
That's pretty cool.
I'm guessing those are all things you're really probably going to need to roll 100 on, but, there you go. But the thing that's probably getting the most discussion on the forums is the Elixir of Discovery, which gives you a +5, 10, or 15% chance of finding named loot in chests that have named loot in them. And yes, apparently this includes raid loot. Okay, please discuss. Go.
Oh,
It's free to win, and I totally want to get them.
Oh, I'd want to get them too, but everybody's freaking out for in my opinion, no reason. Sev made a forum post today. Severlin made a forum post today that, and he said, in quote, I quote, so somebody asked about, are these going to be things that are in the store as well? And he replied, quote, I talked to Laro. The current plan is only daily dice.
Yeah, but I
So-
think a lot of people would react to that by responding saying current plan.
Yes, exactly.
That was my reaction. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I imagine they'll put it in the store at some point, but they're not going to do it right away.
Yeah, I think my initial reaction is mixed feelings. Is I'm not sure that I like that it applies to raid loot. Particularly, they did also he did also mention that in terms of named loot, the general numbers is for normal 10%, hard 16%, and elite 33%, and then Reaper boosting it by they think 1% per skull, but they didn't really go into their specifics there. So, even the best one is giving you less of a boost than if you went from epic normal to from normal to elite. It's the same percentage for epic or normal. But then, that's a pretty significant boost. It doesn't necessarily just guarantee, it's just giving you named loot, though, right? It's not like you're going to get that specific one.
You might pop that pot and nothing gets.
Yeah.
You find nothing in the chest.
Yeah, I mean, there's no guarantee you'll get anything.
The things that are really kind of stick out in my head are how is this going to affect Jack Chibber's blades? And,
That was the first thing I thought of, actually.
yeah,
I think
that's gonna
everyone
be,
thought of that.
and raid loot, which people have pretty strong feelings about pay to win, and I think someone made a really good comment too that I thought was pretty appropriate. Is we really need things that are going to prolong the life of a raid as opposed to here, get all your stuff faster. Having said that, if it's not in the store, it's going to be a lot harder to find, or a lot harder to get. So, kind of go back and forth on that a little bit. Sev also, one of the things he mentioned was he tends to think that items that encourage people to run content are okay for daily dice rolls. He actually likes those better than XP rewards because it encourages players to play rather than circumvent playing, which is an interesting way of looking at it.
That's a good point.
I'm not sure how much an XP pot circumvents people from playing, because a lot of those people are probably going to do more lives anyways. But I see where he's coming from. Anyone else want to comment on these new shiny potions?
So is this the first time we've gotten like real official percentages about like how name loot drops?
Yes.
Because I thought that was the biggest info. That they've basically said Reaper is basically 1% per skull. That I thought was huge news, and among the other, normal hard elite.
I would say it's the most specific. They have mentioned that Reaper skulls do increase drop rates and stuff like that. But I think this is the first time we've really seen hard numbers.
Yeah, even back from the days of Turbine, they never said anything about drop rates. You had to have, it took, forum users who had special software tools to actually get into the DAT files, and they figured out what the exact drop rates were for certain things and certain quests and certain raids. And of course, when people posted that, they got a very stern warning or even a ban for posting that stuff because it was proprietary information, I guess, or NDA type stuff. But yeah, this is the first time that an actual employee has actually given solid, actual real numbers for drop rates.
Yeah, and then the rates themselves actually look pretty decent. I would note that they didn't really. There's two things that stand out to me. One is it's unknown if this actually applies to raids. These numbers apply to raids. And two, the thing to keep in mind here is that it's for named loot to drop, right? So that doesn't say that, because most quests that have named loot have 4 or 5, 6 items, right? Depending on which one it is. raids obviously a little bit more than a normal chest. So it's a chance to get named loot, but not necessarily the one that you want. On the flip side, there's an interesting thing I think that's happening in the game right now where named loot is a little bit more in short supply because people are feeding into sentient gems. So a lot of people won't care what they're getting, as long as they're getting something they can feed to their gem, right? So there's some interesting things at play in here. I think it's kind of...
That's the biggest reason why I think it's great that the sentient gems are unbound.
Yeah.
That and not everyone owns Ravenloft or grinded for a kobold gem during the anniversary.
This just in, people on the forums are outraged about something. I don't see that. I don't see the big deal.
You got to be kidding me.
I totally see this as not a big deal. It's luck in a bottle, you know. Here's some luck. You can use it whenever you want to. I think it's a neat flavor. If they add it to the store, I don't care either.
Yeah, I don't particularly care about this.
I think there's, from my standpoint, is I definitely sympathize with the... I'm not sure that I like it applying to raids for a number of reasons. I don't really care about generic named loot. That's fine. If they add it to the store, one side of me would be like, yeah, it feels a little bit more like pay to win. That like really more pay to win than a lot of the stuff that we've had. Having said that, I think we've already crossed that line, the arbitrary line of pay to win. So it's kind of just moving the arbitrary line in the sand. Also, people will buy it. It keeps the lights on. I get to keep playing the game I like to play with people I like to play it. At the end of the day, I think that the people that are running things just to get specific loot, you know, they're probably going to end up funding things pretty well themselves because, you know, new loot comes out all the time. And if you're going to buy a whole bunch of these pots, great. Thanks for helping keep the lights on.
How do they work? Are they timed, or is it like the next chest you open?
I
was curious of that too.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Based on how they worded it, I would say it's probably just like the other boost potions, like an XP pot or a remnant boost or a Jewel of Fortune, that kind of stuff.
So duration.
That makes re-rolling a lot more efficient, because if
Yes,
you
it
got
does.
that thing going, you're like, hell yeah, I'm going to re-roll every time.
Yeah, that'd be one thing, which is only going to drive their revenue up a little bit because you're going to be getting more. People are going to need more shards.
Shards.
There was. I want to mention there was some concerns that it would that they would adjust drop rates to kind of encourage people to buy them. They have said that they do not have any plans on doing that. This is not factoring into the numbers in game at all. I think it's more of a how can we increase our revenue stream, even if it's just through getting people to interested in daily dice a little bit more. So I think that's kind of where they're generally going with some of that. And he actually even said some stuff to that effect as well. So there you go. Anything else you guys want to mention about Update 38 before we close out our discussion here?
I'm just third update. I liked Update 38, but I'm just kind of curious about Update 39. I know it's a little early, but has anybody heard or seen anything about what Update 39 might be?
White Plume Mountain.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was hoping for.
All right. I've forgotten
Is
about
that 39 or is
pretty
that
sure
40? I know
They said summer,
it.
and it stands to reason that Update 39 will be out in the summer, so it
Probably.
stands to
Yeah.
reason that, you know.
They're going to leave us with a cliffhanger. They're going to leave us all in a state of madness and not be able to cure that until after White Plume Mountain. Some devious DM work there. All right. Before we end here, I just want to go around the table and let's give Update 38 a letter grade. How do you feel about it and all that kind of stuff? Anyone want to go first?
I will. I'm a really tough grader.
Sure.
I give it a B+, which is considerably above average.
Mm-hmm.
2 thumbs up.
I would give it an A-.
Yeah, I was thinking B+, but more of an A-. I think this is going to be a good Better than Tethumar, in my opinion. And a lot of the changes were really pretty great. Druids came back out. Artificers got third tree. Monks got put in their no.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
No, monks are they're not the most OP class. They're just the best class. That's what. No, I think it was a good update. So yeah, A-.
I thought it was a good update, but I really had some issues with what they did to monks. I especially the Henshin mystics. I'm going to give it a B-.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's certainly fair. You're of the 5 of us here, you're the one who plays monks the most, and I think definitely I have to figure anyone who's really invested in monk is gonna. No one likes losing. What was it, like 50 melee power?
It was a ton.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a crazy amount of melee power to lose. I think I would go kind of around the B+, A- kind of range. I can't quite decide where it lands. It kind of changes a little bit from day to day. I like the quests. I like the length of the quests too. Like, they're not really long quests for the most part. So really solid loot. Yeah. Really solid content and an update. So well done. All right, so we're gonna.
I think we could give special props to Kooky Kobold, because this is the first time. I don't know if it's the he or she has actually designed content. So.
Really?
What did Kooky do? Which one again?
Kooky Kobold was like a QA person.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first time that they've made content. So I just want to give that person props.
Do you know which content they did here?
Yeah.
They did as far as I know, they did the 5 dungeons. The 5
No, it was one dungeon. I think
it was
Age. I think it was Age of Rage. I'm not sure. But you liked that one, didn't you, Voodu?
I like them all.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah. A worthy shout out. All right, so thanks for listening. We'll have a new topic of discussion next time. I want to thank my guests, Evennote, Arkat, Hephaestus, and Voodu, for spending an evening with me and recording all of these segments, and giving us some really great thoughts. Really helpful, especially since I have not had as much time as I would like to have to give a really full review on some of that stuff. But these guys are really knowledgeable and very helpful with all of that. If you'd like to support the show, you can visit our website, DDOCast.com, or you can support us on Patreon. You can also find show notes, MP3s, our calendar, and other stuff on our website. You can find me on social media. I am at DDOCast on Twitter. If you'd like to join the discussion, you can leave a comment, or you can email us at ddocast@gmail.com. So until next time, may all your attack rolls be crits, all your chest level appropriate, have fun, and don't forget to gather for buffs.